Black just played Queen e7. Pause the video and try to predict White's next move. Queen takes e7 check. King takes e7. On g5. King d6. On g6. On e5 check. King f5. White intends to play King e4. King e6. On c5. King f6. King d5. King g5. On c6, and put immense pressure on the opponent. King c5 was chosen by Black. King takes e5. King c6. King e6. King c5. King f7. King b4. King takes g7. King takes b3. King takes h6. King a2. White has a strong upper hand. Let's go to the next game. White made a move. Queen takes g4 check. Pause the video to find out Black's response. King h7. Black wants to play on e3. Queen g1. On e2. Queen b1 check. King h6. Queen c1 check. Queen g5 check, and increase their advantage significantly. Queen g3 played by White. White is planning to play Queen takes e5. On takes e5. King g3. King g6. On b6. On e3. King takes f3. On e2. King takes e2, and seize the initiative. Queen takes b5 move preferred by Black. Queen g4. Queen e5. Queen g3. Queen g5 check. Queen takes g5. On takes g5 check. King g3. King h6. Black's idea is to play King h5. On h4. On takes h4 check, and gain a significant edge. King g4 was chosen by White. King g6. King g3. King h5. Black might go for King h6. King g4. King g6. On h4. On takes h4. King takes h4. On e3, and increase their advantage significantly. On h4 move preferred by White. On takes h4 check. King f4. Black has a strong upper hand. Let's go to the next game. Black just played Queen f6. Pause the video to spot White's next move. Queen d4. White intends to play Queen takes f6 check. King takes f6. On a5. King e5. On a6. King f4. On a7. King g3. On promotes to Queen at 8, and gain a significant edge. On f4 move preferred by Black. King c4. On f3. Queen takes f6 check. King takes f6. King d3. White is looking to play on a5. King e6. On a6. On f2. King e2. On promotes to Queen at f1 check. King takes f1. King f7. On a7, and secure a stronghold in the game. King e5 played by Black. Black might go for King f4. King d2. King g3. King e3. On f2. King e2. King g2, and gain a significant edge. King e3 was chosen by White. White's idea is to play King takes f3, and seize the initiative. On f2 was chosen by Black. Black is looking to play Pawn promotes to Queen at f1, and dominate the board. King takes f2 played by white. King e6. King f3. White wants to play. King f4. King d5. King g5. King c5. King takes g6 and seized the initiative. King d5 was chosen by black. On b4. King c4. On b5. King b4. On b6. King takes a 4. On b7. White might go for pawn promotes to queen at b8 and establish a winning position. King b5 played by black. King e2. King c6. Pawn promotes to queen at b8. King d5. Black's loss is confirmed. Let's go to the next game. White just played. Queen b4 check. Pause the video to analyze black's next move. King e6. Queen takes b7. Queen d1 check. King h2. On e2. Queen c8 check. King e5. Queen h8 check. King e4. Queen h7 check. King d4. Queen takes a 7 check. King d3. Queen d7 check. King c2. Queen f5 check. King c1. Queen g5 check. Queen d2. Queen takes d2 check. King takes d2. King g3. King e3. King g4. Pawn promotes to queen at e1. Black is planning to play. Queen f1. King g5. King e4 and take decisive advantage. On h4 white is on the verge of defeat. Let's go to the next game. Black made a move. King c5. Pause the video to spot white's next move. Queen f5 check. King b6. On g7. Queen e3 check. King h5. Queen e2 check. King g5. Queen d2 check. King g6. White is aiming to play pawn promotes to queen at g8 and take decisive advantage. Queen a2 move preferred by black. Queen f6 check. King b5. Queen g5 check. King b4. Queen e7 check. King c3. Queen e3 check. King b4. Queen e1 check. King c5. Queen e5 check. King b6. Queen b8 check. King c6. Queen c8 check. King d6. Pawn promotes to queen at g8. Queen g2 check. White is dominating the board. Let's go to the next game. White made a move. King g3. Pause the video to figure out black's next move. Queen d3 check. Queen takes d3. Pawn takes d3. King f3. King f6. Black is setting up to play. King g5. King g3. On d2. On h4 check. King f6. King f4. Pawn promotes to queen at d1 and increase their advantage significantly. King e3 played by white. White intends to play king takes d3 and increase their advantage significantly. On h5 was chosen by black. Black might go for pawn takes g4. Pawn takes g4. King g5. King f3. On d2. King e2. King takes g4 and take decisive advantage. Pawn takes h5 move preferred by white. King takes f5. King takes d3. King f4. Black is planning to play. King f3. King d2. King g2. King e2. King takes h3 and secure a stronghold in the game. King e2 was chosen by white. King g3. King e3. King takes h3. King f4. King h4. King e5. King takes h5. King d6. On g5. King takes c6. On g4. King takes b5. On g3. King c6. On g2. King takes d5. On promotes to queen at g1. King e4. White is outplayed. Let's go to the next game. White just played queen f2. Pause the video and try to find black's next move. Queen takes f2 check. King takes f2. King f6. King g2. On g5. King f2. King e6. King e3. King d6. King e2. King c5. Black is planning to play King b6. King e3. King a5. King d2. King a4. King c2. On b4. On f4. On takes f4 and sees the initiative. King d2 played by white. On b4. King c2. King b5. Black wants to play King a4. On takes b4. King takes b4 and secure a stronghold in the game. On b3 move preferred by white. On takes b3 check. King takes b3. On takes c3. King takes c3. King c5. On f4. White might go for pawn takes e5 and gain a significant edge. On takes f4 move preferred by black. King d3. King d6. Black considers playing King e5. King c4. King takes e4. King b5. On f3. King c6. On f2. King d6. King f3 and sees the initiative. King d4 played by white. On f6. Black is preparing to play King e6. On e5. On f3 and sees the initiative. King c3 played by white. King e5. Black is planning to play King takes e4 and gain a significant edge. King d3 was chosen by white. On f3. Black is looking to play King f4. King d4. On f2. King d5. On promotes to queen at f1. King d6. Queen c4. King e7. Queen takes e4 check and take decisive advantage. King e3 move preferred by white. On f2. King d3. On promotes to queen at f1 check. King c3. White is struggling to keep up. Let's go to the next game. White made a move. On h3. Pause the video to find out black's response. Queen c1 check. King h2. Queen c7 check. On f4. Queen d6. Queen f3. On d2. Black might go for on promotes to queen at d1. Queen takes d1. Queen takes d1 and secure a stronghold in the game. Queen d1 was chosen by white. Queen takes b4. King g3. Queen b2. Black wants to play Queen c1. Queen b3. King g7 and put immense pressure on the opponent. King f2 was chosen by white. Queen takes a2. On g4. Queen d5. Black intends to play Queen d3. On h4. King g7. Queen a1 check. King g8 and gain a significant edge. King e3 played by white. Queen g2. Queen e2. Queen takes h3 check. King takes d2. Queen g3. Black intends to play Queen takes f4 check and gain a significant edge. Queen c4 was chosen by white. King g8. Queen c8 check. King g7. Black wants to play Queen takes f4 check and increase their advantage significantly? Pawn f5 was chosen by white. Queen f2 check. King d3. Pawn takes f5. Pawn takes f5. Queen f3 check. King c2. Pawn h5. King d2. King f6. Queen f8. Queen takes f5. Queen h6 check. White is outplayed. Let's go to the next game. White just played. Pawn e6. Pause the video and try to predict black's next move. Queen e4 check. Pawn f3. Queen e2 check. King h3. Queen f1 check. King h4. Queen c4 check. Pawn g4. Pawn g5 check. King h3. White wants to play Queen f6 mate and seize the initiative. Queen f4 move preferred by black. Black is looking to play. Queen takes f7. Pawn takes f7. King g7. King g3. Pawn promotes to queen at b1 and dominate the board. Queen takes f4 played by white. Pawn takes f4. Pawn e7. Pawn promotes to queen at b1. Pawn promotes to queen at e8. Queen f1 check. King h4. Queen f2 check. King h3. Queen takes f3 check. King h4. Queen f2 check. King h3. Queen e3 check. Queen takes e3. Pawn takes e3. King g3. Pawn e2. Black might go for pawn promotes to queen at e1 check and increase their advantage significantly. King f2 move preferred by white. Pawn promotes to queen at e1 check. King takes e1. King g5. King f2. King takes g4. King e3. King h3. King d3. King takes h2. King c4. White is outplayed. Let's go to the next game. White played. King g3. Pause the video and try to predict black's next move. Queen h3 check. King f2. Queen h2 check. King e3. Pawn g3. Queen b1 check. Pawn f5. Queen b6 check. King h5. Black wants to play. Pawn g2. Queen b3. Queen g3 check. King d4. Pawn promotes to queen at g1 check and put immense pressure on the opponent. Queen f6 played by white. Queen f2 check. King d3. Queen f1 check. King c2. Queen c4 check. King d1. White is aiming to play Queen g5 mate and take decisive advantage. Queen takes f4 played by black. Queen f7 check. King h4. Queen h7 check. King g4. Queen g6 check. King f3. Black's idea is to play pawn g2. Pawn c6. Queen g4. Queen takes g4 check. Pawn takes g4. King c2. Pawn promotes to queen at g1 and take decisive advantage. Pawn c6 move preferred by white. Queen g4. Queen takes g4 check. Pawn takes g4. Pawn c7. White is preparing to play pawn promotes to queen at c8 and take decisive advantage. Pawn g2 was chosen by black. Pawn promotes to queen at c8. Pawn promotes to queen at g1 check. King c2. Queen d4. Queen f8 check. Queen f4. Black's idea is to play queen takes f8 and secure a stronghold in the game. Queen g7 played by white. Pawn g3. Black is planning to play pawn g2. Queen c3 check. King f2. Queen c5 check. Queen e3 and dominate the board. King b1 played by white. On g2. Queen c3 check. Queen e3. Queen f6 check. King e2. Queen b2 check. King f1. Queen b5 check. King f2. Queen b2 check. King g1. Queen b4. Queen e5. Queen c4. Queen f5 check. King a2. Queen f2 check. King a3. King h2. King b4. Pawn promotes to queen at g1. Queen c7 check. Black is in a commanding position. Let's go to the next game.